do what you wanna do what you wanna do what you wanna do what you wanna do.
Really like the title of the conference this year, Beyond the Boom Boom, because so much has happened, I'd say, in the last 2 years where our dance and electronic music business, which I guess I just want to probably speak a little bit about pre-boom boom. We started with Ultra, putting out dance records in 1995. And at that time, dance was pretty much a dirty word. At least in America, it was a dirty word, because when we went to the radio stations, they didn't want to know about it. When we went to MTV, they also didn't want to know about it. And it took a long time, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of people, the booking agents, the DJs, the labels like ourselves, all working hard to change people's attitude towards dance and electronic music. And all the barriers that were up slowly started to fall. Whether it was getting the first record into Z100 rotation. I remember clearly when we got Love Is Gone by David Guetta into rotation at Z100 in 2009, or when we had deadmau5 perform on the MTV Awards in 2010. So these were some of the milestones as we chipped away at these incredibly strong barriers that were around us. At that time, it was really it was like waking up and trying to be the telephone company or the electric company. You had to think about, okay, I've got this dance record, how am I going to promote it in Canada? How am I going to promote it in Europe? What independent promoter could I meet there? What indie label could I make friends with that I could trust to pay me an account to me to work with? So it really became a bunch of like-minded independent people working together with a real DIY attitude and a DIY mentality. And that's what I think has built our scene and our movement as strong as it is today. And that's why there is no bubble to burst, because everything that you see is very much organic. And there's going to be some big companies getting in with purely financial motives, and financial motives are good. I'm not saying they aren't. That might make some mistakes, but fundamentally, there is no bubble to burst, because the music is just getting stronger. And I think now we're going to take advantage of all the things we didn't have before the boom. So just speaking on behalf of Ultra, we had arrived at a place independently where we had licensees in many territories around the world. We had people on the ground in Canada and the UK, an office in LA doing film and TV synchronization. But when the opportunity came up with Sony being interested in investing in Ultra, it was really the perfect alliance in my mind. Because now, all of a sudden, we have a very powerful telephone company, a very powerful electric company on our side, in the sense of they've got 4,000 people who are used to selling music through their system on a daily basis. The resources that we have now to help our artists and our music are massive. So we obviously have kept all our specialty knowledge with Ultra. Our setup and our relationships with SoundCloud and Beatport and all the other ins and outs of our promo servicing across various territories. But now we also have a very powerful ally with Sony, and we also continue to license records to our independent partners, depending on which territory, which record, and which situation. So I've got to say, as somebody that was standing here before the boom and is standing here after the boom, I'm very pleased about how things are going, because really you can't turn the clock back. Some people might like to, but the good news for the people who do want to turn the clock back is that there will always be new subgenres, everyone always seeks, purity and authenticity, which is great, because that's what really drives a lot of how we got here in the first place. So now you've got new genres or old genres getting new life in them. So you'll see stuff now like trap and hardstyle and deep house and a rebirth of techno and various genres which are really very subcultures within a larger culture of the radio records of the Swedish House Mafia, David Guetta, Calvin Harris, etc. So for me, that's very encouraging that beyond the boom, there's something for everyone. If you want to, now the scene, we worked so hard to get the scene through the barriers. Now we have all the resources at our fingertips that we could ever want. We have a lot of brands that are interested in working with us. We've got Clear Channel Radio with 700 radio stations embracing the music. We have Ultra artists on their big show coming up in Las Vegas, and they've been playing a lot of our records. With their support, we just sold 6 million singles of Calvin Harris in the US and Canada across 4 singles, 9 platinum records on Ultra with Calvin. So there's nothing to be, I can't be a hater when it comes to the boom, and I can only embrace the fact that the larger world has finally accepted what we've been trying to do for so many years. With that said, the thing that got us here in the first place was very much a do-it-yourself mentality, and it's great to see that continuing. You can be the bedroom DJ who breaks out of his bedroom with his computer to the larger world and starts to tour the world and manage your socials, and you can really conquer the world in a great way. But it is true now, because there are so many startup artists and producers. At a certain point now, the people who are really going to be going all the way to the top are going to have powerful friends and allies, whether it be the big festival organizations like Ultra Music Festival or Electric Daisy or ID&T, or whether it's labels like Ultra and Sony or Warner or Universal, because radio space is still going to be dictated to some extent by the large companies and the promo people that they have. I'll give you an example of this right now. Daft Punk, as you well know, the single is #1 with Get Lucky in 65 countries on Sony. And I know, having run an independent label for almost 20 years, that would have been a very difficult feat to achieve just with Ultra. So that's, to me, very encouraging to see those kind of resources now at our fingertips. Now, there's sometimes, there are bidding wars now for the best talent, where the best talent are more likely to go with some of the majors and the independent labels. I think that's fine as long as the artists concerned are doing it for the right reasons, knowing who they're going to be working with when the deal closes, not just the check, So I think that's just something all artists should be aware of, is choosing the teams that they're going to work with, knowing those teams are going to be there for them for the long run. And for the indies, like I said, the sub-genres of electronic music and dance music are continuing to thrive, and these movements will continue to splinter and be alive. So the whole scene, even beyond the boom, is very vibrant at a club level and a street level, which is one thing that I was somewhat concerned about myself when all this started to happen a couple of years ago. When I was talking to Russell Simmons at IMS in LA, one of the things he said to me is, as I was asking him about hip-hop and the analogies between electronic music and hip-hop, obviously a lot of similarities with both, and I was part of the early hip-hop movement working for Russell. But basically, Russell said that, we always wanted to succeed, we always wanted to break through with hip-hop. When we finally did, it was almost a relief. It was almost like we could finally begin to get creative with our agendas for our music and work with bigger companies and accomplish more. And I think we should probably have that same attitude for electronic music. You know, it was such a struggle to get where we are now. Let's enjoy the fact that we have access at the highest levels. And, but let's also keep the authenticity that we can get from putting out a great techno record or a trap record or something that challenges people's ears and people's minds. So I think we need to keep it going at both levels. Let's use the machine, but let's also continue to experiment and continue to progress the music. Just to wrap up, I just want to say that, yeah, for us, really, it's been a long road to get here. Now that all the barriers are down, I really do feel anything is possible. And you know, Pete Tong was just telling me he's now going to be on Z100 and KISS with his show, the two biggest American radio stations, in addition to his show on Radio 1. To me, that's just yet another example of what's probably 100+ examples right now of the access that we have and the chance we have to get out there with the largest possible audience. And I just want to say, let's make the most of this moment. It's something we've been struggling for a long time, and let's really make the most of it. Thank you.